Can you contest a prenuptial agreement after getting married? It's a great question. My name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're continuing our video series designed to educate and inform the public. So please subscribe to our channel. This is a very interesting question because, as you know, a prenuptial agreement is designed to cover those issues that may come up should a marriage not work out. So you sign everything. Presumably, it's done in a way where there's no undue influence, where both parties have the opportunity to have the agreement reviewed by counsel. Sometimes these agreements involve negotiation, and what will happen is, a proposed prenup will be entered. The attorney will call up and say, I have this prenup that you drafted, but on behalf of my client, I'd like you to change paragraph B, section 8, and back and forth. And the more back and forth you got in the execution of the prenuptial agreement, the more likely the court is going to view it as a binding contract. When you have prenuptial agreements that are done the other way, with very little opportunity to review it, to have it reviewed by counsel, when you have prenuptial agreements that are done under conditions of duress, even potentially fraud, those are agreements that the court might well see its way to nullifying those agreements and going beyond them. So what I just highlighted for you is sort of two examples on the broad spectrum, opposite ends. Then there's the stuff in the middle where, well, you did the agreement, there was a little negotiation, but maybe there wasn't a lawyer, or there was a lawyer, but you drafted the darn thing 6 days before the wedding, so there really wasn't enough time to flush it through. And the court can pick and choose. Remember one thing about prenups. It's not like you see in the movies. There were movies about prenuptial agreements. There's a movie with George Clooney, I think it was called Bonfire of the Vanities, where they talk about this binding, solid steel, rock hard prenuptial agreement that could never be penetrated because it was so fantastic. Michigan's not like that. The courts have the discretion to pierce a prenuptial agreement, to take some terms that are fair and some that are not, and use the ones that are and the ones that are not. The court has all sorts of leeway. There's no rock solid agreement. There is no unbelievably binding agreement that you signed it, so too bad. The courts are bound by principles of equity. But whether or not the court's going to invade a contractual agreement between two consenting adults is going to depend on whether or not there was appropriate safeguards put in the agreement, whether or not the agreement complies with the statutes, and whether or not there is a due process permitted with respect to the agreement, whether or not there was fraud or duress and some other equitable things that have to be looked into to determine a valid agreement. If you have questions about yours, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.
248-588-3333. 248